It is estimated that 5,000 tons of solid waste is generated daily in Ghana, with waste management companies still grappling with this huge amount of solid waste. The establishment of the Accra compost plant is one of the most laudable strategies to partly deal with the seemingly insurmountable waste management problems that confront the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Now, although numerous attempts have been made by the government to circumvent the issue, it has been an unlikely entrepreneur from the private sector who made a real impact in the fight against Ghana's solid waste problem. Let's take a look at who he is. Dr. Joseph Siaw Agyapong is the founder and executive chairman of the Jospong Group of Companies, one of the most diversified holding companies in Ghana, with operations in other African countries and Asia. The company has business interests in approximately 12 sectors of the economy, with its biggest operations in waste management, ICT, and banking, as well as automobile and equipment. Established in 1995 as a printing press, the company has since its inception experienced phenomenal growth and now has operations covering diverse sectors with over 40 companies with a focus on delivering quality services and products using simple technology at competitive prices. With this innovation, the company has controlled waste management in Ghana and offered jobs to as many as 3,000 core Zoomlion staff and over 250,000 people working on various projects for their sister companies. Dr. Siaw Agyapong is a seasoned Ghanaian entrepreneur and industrialist who has received many awards and honors in his career, including being adjudged the overall Best Entrepreneur of the Year 2011 during the Ghana Entrepreneur Awards. Dr. Siaw Agyapong was also awarded by the President of Ghana the Order of the Star of the Volta in 2008, the Millennium Excellence Award for Leadership in the Industry, the most marketing-orientated company by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, amongst many others. Dr. Siaw Agyapong's greatest aspiration is to see Ghana become a filth-free country. Welcome to My Worst Day with Peace Hyde, and today we're joined by another remarkable captain of industry, Dr. Joseph Siaw Agyapong. Thank you for joining me on My Worst Day.
Thank you.
Now, you're a household name in Ghana, especially in the waste industry. Now, in terms of those who are new to your name, Dr. Joseph Siaw Agyapong, who are you?
Joseph Siaw Agyapong. I'm executive chairman of Zoomlion Ghana Limited and Jospong Group. I started business in the year 1995 and I have thrived so many businesses. And my passion is creation of employment, a person, an entrepreneur, someone who creates ideas, bring innovations, and I'm poised to try everything as far as business is concerned.
Right. Now, I mean, you came from very humble beginnings. And although you had dreams of being a pilot and you wanted to become an engineer even, talk to me about your journey from those humble beginnings to becoming a powerhouse in the waste management industry.
I would like to give a brief about how I started the journey of life. I was born in a village in the central region part of Ghana, and the village name is Asina Moabin. I was schooled there, also in a village, when my father's business got. My father has 17 children with 3 wives, and so when he started businesses, one person taking care of 17 children became more difficult. As part of that, life became very challenging that we all migrated from the city to the village. So I was born in a village, brought to the city to take care of my father tried taking care of the family, and then life became more challenging. He took us back also to the village. So I was schooled there and lived my life there. And during that time, I saw the difficulty and the challenging that people go through to make life. So when I came back to the city to make things work in business, and by God's grace, in the business atmosphere that I developed, I always have the passion of creating employment. I have the desire that any business I do, people must have a good living. People must get opportunity to have business to do it. And that has been my drive, that any business of what I move into must create business. So the household name of Zoom Lion started in that force when in the year 2005, there were serious challenges of waste management managing in the country, being Ghana and Accra. I got the idea that, look, how can we mobilize people to arrest this and have a solution to this problem?
Before we go into Zoom Lion, you know, most people know the Zoom Lion brand in Ghana. It's a household name. But I want to look at your genesis. I like to look at your story as almost the term an accidental businessman, because you came about the whole entrepreneurship journey as a result of your mother falling ill. So you had to now start selling stationery on her behalf to help sustain the business. But then you came up with so many innovative ideas that you found almost your niche in business from a very young age, which was your start. What was that experience like for you, for someone who's dropped out of school and you're now looking at becoming almost an entrepreneur off the bat? How did you manage to deal with that transition?
Oh, that's good. One of the things that I will say is that there's 17 children of us, and I was the sixth born. And in that family, I got the idea that where is hope and where is life? So I have the vision of trying everything to make succeeding in life and also to support my siblings. So what I have determined to do was that I wanted to first become a pilot or a marine engineer. And one day my father told me, look, Joseph, try and support your mommy. Your mommy is also ill. The business that she's doing as a stationery seller is not working well. So try and support it. That very day, I wept bitterly because my ambition was to be a marine engineer or a pilot. Now I'm being trained to be a trader, a business person. So what I did was to pray to God to ask for direction, and God gave me that insight. Look, obey thy father and thy mother in the scripture, as the Bible says, and it will be well with you. I took my father's advice, and so I joined the business and tried to be, where do I start? Nothing. So I started as a commissioner agent, moving from places to places and supporting my mother from the shop, and being like a commissioner from moving from one stationery places, schools and other things, trying all businesses. I've moved into every business. I've sell on the street, I've sell in the vehicle, I've done everything just to try to make business. And out of this, have emerged this experience, and then now Zoom Lion become very big.
So you went on to do the printing press company, which was able to provide the collateral to start Zoom Lion. But explain to me just briefly about the Zoom Lion brand. I mean, it's a huge household brand. We see it everywhere in Ghana. Tell us about it.
I'll give you the background. In the year 2005, there was a serious problem in this country that there was fraud everywhere. And people were talking about waste everywhere. The media, everybody's talking about it. So what I did was, what was the solution? I prayed and I got an idea that this solution is very easy. Let us get multitude of people moving on the street to collect refuse. So what I did was I moved to the bank. Just look, I need money to go and buy a printing machine. I got some small money. It was about 30,000 Ghana cedis by then. And I used the money to go and buy tricycles. And I brought it and I started it as a pilot. And I moved to every district, get it and tried it. So there wasn't any contract, nothing, but people to start using the tricycle.
Yeah.
One was, the idea was how to revolutionize waste management by people trying to use tricycle to collect. I wanted to solve the problem of one, culture, that the people that will use the tricycle will talk to the people to change their culture, not to litter. So the tricycle was a true one to educate the people in the household that when you get there, speak in the language of people, don't litter the street. Try to have a container and put the refuse in. Was also to use a modernized way of not using wheelbarrows and other things, just bringing people into that business of collecting waste daily, because every human being generates about 1.5 kilograms of waste, so that will solve. So the tricycle during the pilot to pilot, move on. Then government came in and look, this is a very laudable idea. One is solving unemployment. It's also bringing cultural and educational change. It's also making the place very neat. And then this caught up. And today we've generated about more than 250,000 in various forms in public and private sector business.
I think it's definitely clear that Zoomline is leading in terms of waste management in Ghana. And from your humble beginnings to where you have risen to, there's no doubt that you have no aversion to getting your hands dirty. But I must ask, what has been your worst day in business so far?
The worst, one of the days, in fact, I would say that in business, in the cycle of businesses, as the business grows, you might have some challenges. And once the challenges comes, one of them is to just identify the gap and move on. Zoomline started in the year 2006, and it started springing up. By 2008, we were managing about 60,000 workforce group, and then we were the first company in the year 2008. 2008, the company started 2006, 2008. We were given the contract to host the first African Cup of Nations tournament in Ghana. And then without any experience, we have to quickly move on. We were able to develop the strategy, move into it. It was a plus that gave into a new company. Then in 2010, we went to Angola to also giving the contract to manage. So from the shores of Ghana, it was now moving to other countries. In the year 2010, we were into Liberia, we are into other countries, Sierra Leone and other things. And what we did was, in the year 2008, when we went to Angola, and from there we went to Liberia, we had a World Bank contract, and the World Bank contract, one of our staff, during the contract proceedings and other things, he committed certain errors, which was an infraction. The World Bank.
The World Bank contract was for you to
construct a landfill. We got the land. It was international competitive bidding, right. So we bid it, and you know the World Bank rules, very decent, very neat, and very transparent. So we bid the contract and we won the contract. And when we won the contract, we constructed the landfill. And during the construction and I think the documentation, there was certain things which were not done properly by one of our staff. So the company was blacklisted because of the infractions.
So you had built the landfill, but then there were certain areas where somebody had gone wrong. Do you remember where the person went wrong? What was the error that they made?
I think that during the auditing processes, certain things were not recorded rightly.
Right.
And it was the first international contract that we had as a company, moving to the international field.
How long had you been in business at this point?
10 years now.
Right.
But at that time, it was 2000 and we've been there 2013.
Right.
So you're talking about 7 years.
Into your business.
And we have, it was then the first international competitive bidding, let's say going to contest or compete on the international market for a contract. And out of this, your first international contract, successfully we executed the contract perfectly, but after the contract has been done, awarded, paid the money, the auditing, they saw this infraction, that some recordings and other things were not done rightly, and you have been blacklisted. It became a very big blow. Yes.
What is the implications when the World Bank blacklists you? What does that mean exactly?
It means that in fact, we're blacklisted for 2 years, meaning that any World Bank international project, you cannot bid.
Wow.
And we wanted to go outside the country to do more businesses of that. It was a very big blow.
How did you feel when you realized that this error had been made and now, as a result, you had been blacklisted?
One of the things that happened that was quite good for us was that there's a procedure that the processes that once you, I remember the day that the form was brought to me by my managers that, look, we have two options, either to go in the process of taking the process of getting a debarment and then coming out of debarment, or you can contest it and challenge it in any court of law, and you then not work at all. Right. We were having the option to go and contest it, and I'm telling you, our lawyers and everything were saying, look, go and let's contest it. These things are not, the interview process of how things work there wasn't right. But I said, no, let us comply. And in any business, disadvantages are advantage.
That's correct. So did you feel, though, at the point where you had realized you've been blacklisted, before you've spoken to your lawyers, when you've seen the form that's saying, look, in terms of Zoomline and what you're doing, we're limiting now any international contract, did you think that was the end of your business? Did you feel like this is the end of everything I've worked towards?
What I saw was that I saw it as a big blow because I wanted to go more international. And this has been a problem. Internally, it doesn't speak well of the company and other things. But
how did you feel emotionally?
I felt bad that very day that this thing has happened. And when I look at them, it was something very minor that shouldn't have gotten to this level. So I said, well, let's take it up, move into it. And we got out of the debarment with 2 years with excellent recommendations by the World Bank. And when you read the comments that they made about the company of its status now, it have now gotten us, now we are into 7 countries, we are into so many places, and we have developed very solidly, very strongly. And so sometimes in business, when such things comes, just abreast of it, challenges, whether it is both internal, minor, take it up as an opportunity, develop around it, and become a solid.
I wanted to look at, once you found out that you've been blacklisted and you're now working to get out of this state, your blacklist lasted 2 years. How long did it take before you reversed that decision?
By the end of the 2 years, we haven't gotten out.
Right, and what did you do? How did you manage to lift your company out of that list?
But what we have to put all the things, you have a compliance system that you have to go through when you are being blacklisted. So you have to get through the compliance procedure. And a piece, we committed ourselves, the whole management, I put them together, look, let's take it up. And it's a challenging time, let's take it up. We were having 2 choices, that our local business that we do in Ghana, World Bank, it is businesses that World Bank funding that you are not supposed to do. So any business that we do, we can do at our business, our local businesses. We are not obligated to go and submit ourselves to this department. We haven't had a choice, or to just comply. But we chose the choice that, look, in businesses, when a challenge comes, or when failure comes, or problem comes, take it boldly and go around it, and you succeeded. So we complied with the processes to go through, and 2 years, the World Bank recommended the company and we were even used as a model to be training other companies on compliance.
Excellent. So when you look at that particular experience, how did it then go on to mold future business ventures? Because obviously from that moment, after the 2 years, you then aggressively expanded into 7 countries on the continent. So how did that inform and advise your business expansion strategy?
One of the things was that as business grows very rapidly, you have human capacity gap. You have so many people that have to be trained and other things. So what we recognize that some of the staff have to be trained professionally in how things must be done. And so we use that system to train the people in the processes of more rating the company on a higher level. So we put in structures and other areas that will strengthen the organizational chart of the company. And so what we did was to look at where we fall short. And we did this to develop the company putting the structures, putting measures, and I have now lifted the company to a very solid foundation that can move into every businesses. And I'm telling you, out of this, we have generated about 13 subsidiaries of Zoom Lion. That Zoom Lion have moved into from the collection of the waste to the treatment, recycling, and even waste to energy.
Wow.
Through the
So from that difficulty, you've actually expanded your business.
Expanded. It was expanded. And that's why I was saying that disadvantages in certain sectors or failures are always the curve of success. And once it comes in, when you're doing business and you get into difficulty, just look at it, restructure, reorganize, and then move on.
I think that's a brilliant exclamation or quote. For every failure curve, that's where you find success. But in terms of when you reflect back, is there anything that you think, knowing what I know now, I would do differently from the beginning? Is there any key points that you would say, I've learned from this and this is what I would do differently?
What I have said that it have really rebuilt our knowledge and our area. It have added so many value of the experience of moving into the department and getting out, have built serious experiences for the staff, for management, and for myself. And it have given that moving into all new businesses, certain structures that I have to put in place to move on. And if I want to start a business, I know that I have to get my structures, I have to get my compliance, I have to get my all things, my policies, regulations, and everything signed. And look at it and see that it goes well. So it's a process that experience that have built the confidence level of the staff, the reputational issues, avoidance of risks, and other things to move into business. Whatever be the kind of business, the same principle and systems have to go through.
Now, there's so many young people that are looking at the brand that you've managed to build and the level of excellence in business that you've managed to build and are inspired. They would love to know, how do you do it? If you had to give them your top 3 pieces of advice to keep them motivated to work out, how can I be just like you? What would you say?
I will humbly say that, first of all, I look at God Almighty who created this universe. He has given boundaries of countries to everyone. There's a reason why I'm a Ghanaian. There's a reason why someone was born in Morocco, someone was born in Germany. God also have given the natural resources accordingly to everyone. Someone has gold, other ones have diamond, someone bauxite. Recognize where you were born, the potentials of the country, and what you can make out of it. So young people and everyone who want to move into business, what do you have in your country? What are the disadvantages and the advantages that you have? What and how can you turn it over? I was not dreaming to move into waste management. I wanted to be a pilot or a marine engineer. That was my ambition. I got into this as an experiment of getting into business to business, trying everything that might succeed. I found the opportunity that this was a problem to a country, and how best do I bring solution to it? And that have developed to this level. So one, look for the opportunities in your country and what you can do at your time. Start and try it. The second is start and try it. Don't be scared by moving into it with risks and failure and other things. Failure is also the curve of success, I always state. Try it. Have the ambition that you will succeed by all means. Try it. If you try the first and doesn't succeed, go to the second, you will succeed. And I told you sometimes I have to move, walk, go and work, travel 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, move in every offices. I even become sometimes a commissioner agent. I will just come and take your goods, go and sell. And I was selling things as season. When it is getting to Christmas, I move into Christmas items and sell it. I carry things on my head, do everything. So I tried most of the things and it has succeeded. There's nothing harm in trying. There's nothing harm in getting a good ambition. And I think that when young entrepreneurs, young people take this focus, you will never be vulnerable to society.
That was some invaluable pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us on My Worst Day. Now you've heard from the Titan himself about the tips to the top, but let's find out what his closest allies had to say about this captain of industry.
My name is Emma Chiabuachi, and I work as the operations manager for Zoomline Ghana Limited.
My name is Florence Labi, the managing director of Zoomline Ghana Limited.
My name is Emmanuel Oche Okume, Director of Administration, Zoomline Ghana Limited. I have known Dr. Agyapong for the past 7 years.
I have known Dr. Siaw Agyapong for nearly 11 years.
I have known Dr. Siaw Agyapong for the past 11 years. And this is a man I've known to be gifted with business ideas.
I have known him as an entrepreneur who has an uncompromising vision.
He is a gentleman I find to be very, very hardworking.
He does not fear risk at all, and that is what he has taught me.
He's very meticulous. Give him a document to read, and in less than a minute, he's telling you, asking you questions from the 10th page. So it tells me that before I present a document to him, I need to know what I'm about.
Looking back at the successes, I can say that he is a truly discerning businessman.
A wise man once said, if you aren't failing, then you aren't learning. And if you aren't learning, then you aren't improving. Failure seems to be the constant in the fight for profitability and success in business. But the pertinent question remains, are you equipped to deal with failure when your worst day comes? My name is Hyde, and this is My Worst Day on Forbes Africa TV.